Hi everyone, welcome to today's session. So we will start our session now. Okay, so for a start, please sit in a comfortable position. Put your hands in a comfortable position and gently close your eyes. We're going to do some breathing exercises first. When you breathe in all the good and all the fresh air. And when you breathe out, whatever tension or tightness, whatever feelings of stress or tiredness, whatever negative emotion, negative energy in the body and the mind, we're going to let it all go out together with the out-breath. So let's try, so gently. Take a deep breath in. Gently let it out. Relax, 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 relax. For the second time, take a deep breath in again. Gently let it out. Relax, 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 relax. For the third time, take a deep breath in again. Gently let it out. Relax, 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 relax. For the last time, take a deep breath in again. Gently let it out. Relax, 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 relax. Relaxation of the body. If there is any more tension and tightness, any more feelings of using or exerting strength in the body, gently let it go and let the body abide in a state of relaxation and inaction. Relaxation of the mind. Let us be aware of the state of mind at every present moment. And if there is any wanting, any craving, any expectations in the mind, let us gently let it go and let the mind abide in a state of non-wanting, non-craving, and non-expectations. Then let the mind abide in action. For the mind not doing or thinking about anything in particular. Not having the need for the mind to do or to think about anything in particular anymore. Let this 20 minutes be a time for the mind to have a break from all the wantings and doings of life. Then let the mind be aware of whatever they manifest to your awareness regarding the body and the mind, moment to moment. Moment to moment. Without indulging or suppressing any stories, issues, emotions, images that may arise in the mind. Just with acceptance and awareness, simply being aware of whatever that manifests to your awareness regarding the body and the mind, moment to moment. Moment to moment. With this relaxed mind and body, today let us continue with our development on the reflection on compassion. So let us recollect the beings that are suffering. They may be the beings in the hospital, displaced people because of war, people who are living in poverty and hunger, or maybe just the beings around you that may be suffering physically or mentally. So let us, with a sincere wish for beings to be free from suffering, let us, with a tender, loving heart, wish the suffering beings free from suffering and causes of suffering. 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 Let the suffering beings free from suffering and causes of suffering. 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 Then let us think of ourselves with a sincere wish for ourselves to be free from suffering also. Let us gently, sincerely, with a tender, loving heart, let us wish ourselves free from suffering and causes of suffering. 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 Let us be free from suffering and causes of suffering. 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 Then let us think of the respected beings. With a sincere wish, gently, sincerely, with a tender, loving heart, let us wish the respected beings free from suffering and causes of suffering. 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 Let the respected beings free from suffering and causes of suffering. 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 Then let us think of the neutral beings in our life. They may be the shopkeepers in the mall, the service people in Macca's or McDonald's, colleagues at work from another department, or just your neighbors whom you do not know very well, but you see them every day. With a sincere wish for them to be free from suffering, let us gently, sincerely, with a tender, loving heart, let us wish the neutral beings free from suffering and causes of suffering. 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 Neutral beings free from suffering and causes of suffering. 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 Then let us think of enemies. They may be people that you dislike because of their behavior or speech. Or if you feel that you have nobody that you hate, then at least people who find you unpleasant, or people who want to harm you through their actions, through their speech. Then let us reflect that on the front, it seems like they are evil, and maybe they have successfully harmed you in a way, and that they are successful about their evil ways. Seems like they are winning. But actually, on further reflection, beyond all that illusion of victory, they are actually planting seeds of suffering for themselves in the future. An arrogant person who gets his way will be so puffed up that when the times comes when he doesn't get his way, they will suffer so much. When the greedy person gets what they want, and their greed and craving increases, then when the time comes when they can't fulfill their greed, the more greed they have, the more suffering they will have. And a person who is angry, violent in the present moment, they are suffering from the restlessness and the shaking and agitation of the heart, of the mind. They are actually in distress and in suffering right now. What more to say about the future? So with a wish for them to be free from suffering and free from the causes of suffering, especially hoping them not to do any more evil ways, evil deeds, speech, etc., so that they may live in peace with others, live in peace with themselves, and not create suffering for themselves and others around them. Let us wish the enemies free from suffering and causes of suffering. 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 That may the enemies free from suffering and causes of suffering. 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 Let those who harm others and those who are being harmed free from suffering and causes of suffering. Okay, so gently take a deep breath in. Gently let it out. Relax, 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 relax. For the second time, take a deep breath in again. Gently let it out. Relax, 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 relax. Gently be aware of the feelings of your body. Gently be aware of the feelings of your buttocks touching the cushion. Then doesn't matter whether the experience was good or no good. Let the mind come back to the present moment. Then, just like waking up from a deep sleep, gently open your eyes. Okay, so today, for the next few days, next few sessions, we will try to do compassion to our enemies. Okay, so just like what we mentioned just now, when we want to send compassion to our enemies, so we should always try to notice or pay attention to the causes of suffering that they are doing, they are planting in the present. Okay. So whatever it may be, for example, a colleague at work who was making things difficult for you, maybe the shopkeeper, the shop assistant who's fumbling over everything and not making your day, or maybe just the barista in your normal cafe who just, lost the standard that morning and couldn't make the best coffee that you could have. maybe, or maybe even some beings who just want to harm you or just talk badly to you, or they just have some very bad behavior or bad speaking habits, right? So we can recollect that, okay, what they are doing because of the unwholesome intentions. Then actually they are planting seeds of suffering for themselves. Whatever that they do, they speak, it will manifest back to them in another time when the conditions are fulfilled. Right? So whatever that you are facing now, then we can think that, oh, they may face this in the future also. But now, because we know that about the laws of cause and effect, then at least we can relate to them with compassion. We can have compassion for our suffering, and we can let go of the causes of suffering, so we do not end into the vicious cycle. But for them, they may not be able to do that in the future. Then they will suffer again. Then when they reap the fruits of their seeds, of their karmic seeds, then at that time they will suffer, and they may respond in anger, or they may respond in greed, or they may respond in an unwholesome way towards the perpetrator again. And then they will create suffering, seeds of suffering for themselves again. And then the cycle goes round and round, round and round. And it's endless suffering. So when we think like this, then we understand, beyond that illusion, beyond the image or the perception of, oh, they are winning, they are harming us, oh, they are speaking bad about us. Beyond that, if we look at cause and effect, then actually there's nothing for us to be angry actually, because what they are doing, they are just harming themselves. So if people harm themselves, why should we be angry? Isn't that so? It would be silly for us to get angry. But this contemplation has to be repetitively embedded and practiced, contemplated repeatedly, until it becomes part of our life's values. And when it becomes part of your life's values, just imagine the suffering that you would have let go from all this silly response to people's unwholesome deeds and speech. Just imagine every time that people do something bad, you have compassion to them instead of anger. How wonderful it is, right? So I really hope that everyone will be able to experience this kind of life. Okay? So this is one way that we can relate to our enemies with compassion. Alright, so this is a sharing for today. Wish all of you well, peaceful and happy, and let us share merits. Okay? Alright, please repeat after me. Ettavada chamehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva sabbe Buddha sabbe sattva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. I share my merits with all devas, all beings, all creatures. May they rejoice in our merits. May they be happy. Idame nyati nam hotu Sukhita hontu nyatayo. I share my merits with all departed relatives. May they rejoice in our merits. May they be happy. Idame punyang asavakaya vahang hotu. Idame punyang nibbānassa paccaya hotu. By the power of this merit, may it be supportive condition for my purification of the mind till no more defilements. By the power of this merit, may it be supportive condition for my attainment of Nibbāna. Mama punya bhagang sabba sattanang bhajemi te sabbe me sammang punya bhagang labantu. I share my merits with all beings. May they rejoice in the merits. May they be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That's all for today's session. Wish all of you well, peaceful and happy and full of compassion, even to your enemies. And see you guys in the next session, okay? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.